What is good, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely, lovely, lovely Monday? It's your boy Reg in the building. I know it's been ages since I've done a recap of my CDs. I've been so busy with school. I've been so busy with music. I've just been mentally just trying to get myself together. And it's crazy too because I left off the Prince, and I had this like this pretty much since maybe about 2 months now, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm gonna try to finish up these, hopefully by May, because I just have this, um, like this whole part right here, and then, excuse me, I got all of this shit right here. Excuse the mess right now. In the middle of remodeling, and when you have certain ideas and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. Everything's just scattered around. Yeah, excuse all the mess. As y'all can see, I got the Dr. Dre Compton vinyl right there. Stay tuned on that. All right, so let's get started with these Prince albums. So, 1990, 1979, we got the self-titled second album. This was a very good album. This was actually 1 year after the first album called For You. Little story about this album. Let me turn this TV down. Little story about this album. So For You was like a commercial disappointment, and he actually had to owe Warner Brothers some money. So he quickly had to make this album like as commercial as possible. That's why you have songs like "I Want to Be Your Lover," "Sexy Dancer," "Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad," "I Feel for You," which the "I Feel for You" he did the original cover. Y'all should know the Shaka Khan and Melly Mel version that came out on Shaka's 1984 album, which that 1984 album, I think it's called "I Feel for You." That was okay. It was a bit too commercial for my taste, but I'm gonna talk about that album one day. But yeah, this album to me, very cool album, very dope album and stuff like that. Yeah, must have for any Prince fan, because it's like For You, pretty much it had its commercialish kind of moments, but it was mostly a Kim still trying to find himself. So, but this album, Dirty Mind, very dope album. This came out in 1980. Yeah, this album to me was very raw, very explicit. This is like the beginning of Prince, in my opinion. Like, um, the Minneapolis sounds definitely forming around this time too. Yeah, songs like "Dirty Mind," "Party Up," which the song "Party Up" was actually co-written by Morris Day, and y'all should know the story about this, where Alexander O'Neal was originally the lead singer of the time, but him and Prince had a falling out, and so Morris Day got included with the time, and the rest is history. Y'all should definitely check out the Morris Day reaction to the Unsung episode. Definitely check that out. So yeah, this is definitely a good album. One of my all-time favorite Prince albums, and one album I don't really hear a lot of people talk about. And it's crazy how this album is still not like I don't think it's reissued yet. I don't know what the Prince estate is doing, but I want to hear like some unreleased shit from this album, bro. But then we got 1999. Yeah, this album came out in 1982. This is the album I would say it's his breakthrough album in my opinion. Like this album that really made him like a household name. You have songs like "Let's Pretend We're Married," 1999. You have Lady Cab Driver. Like this was really what got him on MTV. Most of the members from the Revolution started coming here. Like very dope album, one of his funkiest albums. Purple Rain. I don't even feel like I should spend too much time on this album, but this was the album that really, 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 really broke him in and stuff like that. The soundtrack to the movie, which if I'm not mistaken, I think the soundtrack came first, if I'm not mistaken, then the movie. But I could be wrong on that. But this was known for songs like "Darling Nikki," "When Doves Cry," "Let's Go Crazy." I mean, yeah, Prince was definitely in the zone around this time. Then we got 1985's "Around the World in a Day." This this album, very interesting story with this one. Originally, this was supposed to have came out after 1999. But he started Purple Rain, so I think like after Purple Rain, he was really finishing up this album, and he released this album without no promotion, while Purple Rain was still like topping the charts too. So yeah, but this is also around the time too when he said that he didn't want to do no live performances, no touring, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But Warner Brothers pretty much said that you have to at least promote some singles and stuff like that. So that's when the whole Raspberry Parade came out. And if you guys look at the Raspberry Beret videos and the other videos like Paisley Park, he only appeared on a Raspberry Beret video. So yeah, man, it's very interesting. Um, but yeah, Around the World in a Day, definitely a very, very, very underrated album. It's not when it comes to like its classic period, and what I mean by its classic period, I mean 1980 to 88. I do admit it's probably my least favorite from that period, but it's still a very highly enjoyable album, very groundbreaking if you ask me, because like before Beyonce, popularized like the surprise release and stuff like that. I personally feel like Prince definitely get his props with that too, in my opinion. But yeah, let's see. Then we're gonna get the Parade. Whew, 1986, man. Shout out to Prince for always dropping an album once every year and stuff like that. I've always loved that about Prince. Like everything from 79, well, excluding 1983 because he was still working on the Purple Rain movie. Um, I would count 1993 when he dropped the hits and the B sides, but that was the whole beginning of the whole Warner Brothers controversy, which I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But yeah, 1986, very very dope album. This was yet another soundtrack movie to Under the Cherry Moon, which I'm not gonna lie, that movie was so weird. I kind of fell asleep through it twice. One day I'm really gonna sit down, watch the movie, and like really find out what I like about it. So yeah, but in terms of this album, very dope. Definitely has this funk. Definitely has like this funkiness to it, in my opinion, and stuff like that. You have songs like "Another Lover in Your Head." Oh my God, I love that track. Um, "Girls and Boys," very dope single. "Life Can Be So Nice." Probably my favorite song off this album. A lot of people don't like that song for some reason. "Kiss," which originally that was for I think his one of his like affiliates. I think it's called like Maserati or something like that. But what had happened was they actually finished the song "Kiss," but Prince loved it, and he just took it back from them. But he still gave them songwriting credits and stuff too. So yeah, man. So this is 1986 Parade. One of my all-time favorite Prince albums. I know I've said that for like the past 3 albums, but the nigga was definitely a genius, man. I'm telling you. Then we got Sign of the Times. Yes, the double disc album that came out in 1987. 1987 was a pretty busy year for Prince. This was around the time he broke up with the Revolution, and then he was working on those 3 albums, like the Camille, the Dream Factory, the Crystal Ball, and he originally wanted to make this album a triple disc album, but Warner Brothers was like, nah, you might want to just do a double disc because nobody's not really gonna listen to a triple disc album. But fast forward now, you got like he did the Emancipation, and Chris Brown with that heartbreak off of Full Moon album and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's when he did the double disc album, and this is when. And the thing about this album too was like the thing about this album was the fact that unlike other double disc albums that's been released in like later years, like All Eyes on Me by Tupac, um, Cypress Hill's fourth album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Biggie's Life After Death, where they have like the double disc compounded together. You actually had to buy this separately because I remember when I bought this album off Amazon too. I only got this disc, and I was looking at myself like, no wait, was it this disc? No, it was the second disc with "You Got to Look," "If I Was Your Girlfriend," all that stuff. And I was looking at myself like, something's not right. And so I had to actually reorder the same album, and that's how I got both discs. So yeah, and I know like they recently released this album last year. Um, Very dope reissue. They have a couple of dope songs. He did songs like Miles Davis. He did like other unreleased songs from like the Crystal Ball. Those the 3 album sessions and stuff like that too. So all my Prince fans, I would definitely peep into that. But Sign of the Times is definitely my favorite Prince album. I mean, yeah, Strange Relationship, You Gotta Look, Gonna Be a Beautiful Night. I mean, this whole album is funky as fuck, soulful. Like he just did so many styles off this album, man. It's like I definitely appreciate, respect everyone when they say that's his best album. Then we got, well, technically, this was supposed to have came out in 1987. This is the Black Album. It's supposed to be the original follow up to Sign of the Time, but this ended up coming in 1994. But I still put it after Sign of the Times in my collection. Yeah. Again, y'all should know the story with this album too. You know, with the fact that Prince was allegedly on ecstasy one night and he deemed the album too dark or some shit. It's not funny. It's not funny, but it's just like the story. I've heard different versions of the story, but I kind of tend to believe like the ecstasy story or whatever. But yeah, this album came out in 1994 when it was Prince going through his record label, and his record label kind of threw it out there just to get him out this contract. And the thing about this album was it was kind of bootlegged over the years and stuff. And a lot of people who listened to like the advanced copy, they said that they loved it and stuff like that. But then over the years, when it was actually released in 1984, it was pretty much ignored by the public because it's like they have already heard the Black Album from bootleg forms, or if you guys watched the Love Sexy tour, like I think he did it like in Germany or Dumont, Germany. They he did like a couple songs like Supercalifragilistic which actually introduced wanted me to actually listen to the Black Album, believe it or not, and Bob George and stuff like that. But another interesting thing about this album too was the fact that the song "When Two One Love" was actually reused for Love Sexy and stuff too. So, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. This is actually one of his funkiest albums. Very dope album, in my opinion. I know a lot of Prince fans. They say, "Oh, this album was like a bit too dark. Oh, it's fun." Like this was really him trying to get back his black audience, if that makes sense. And I feel like if it would have came out in '87, I feel like it would definitely have been like more of an underground hit, if you ask me, and stuff like that. But to each his own. Yeah, so good luck finding that album. I know that's like one of his most highly sought after albums. Luckily, I was able to find that on eBay. Um, 1988's with Love Sexy. I'm gonna try to run by these real quick, but I feel like I've been talking too much on already. So yeah, Love Sexy. Very eerie album cover. This was pretty much he recorded this album I think like 4 to 7 weeks. Known for songs like Anastasia, I Wish You Heaven. Originally, I did not like this album. I felt like this album was very played it safely. Pop. I mean, I don't want to say poppy pop. It was just in comparison to like Sound of the Times and Black Album. He kind of played it safe. I was like, well, what the fuck is this? I Wish You Heaven crap. But let me stop. But then I admit, when he died, I actually re-listened to this album. Even though the fact that he put all the damn songs in one track, because if you like pop the CD in the CD player, you can't really just go to the next track. You have to actually sit down and listen to the whole thing all at once and stuff like that. Which is very original. It was very original at the time. But when I first heard the album, when I originally did not like it, I was just like, oh my god, nigga, come on, man. But this is a very good album. I would highly recommend it. And then we get to Batman. Now, 88 I will say was like the last year in his classic period, but he was still dropping some heat too. Um, this album was of course the soundtrack to the Batman movie. Tim Burton, very dope. movie, one of my all-time favorite DC movies of all time. Yeah, with this album, he did his whole soundtrack. He did songs like Party Man, Bat Dance. Check out the remix with Big Daddy Kane, Scandalous, Electric Chair. I love that song, Electric Chair. The Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary performance. One of my favorite performances he's done. Um, yeah, then we get to yet another soundtrack, Graffiti Bridge. Bad movie as usual, but soundtrack is actually not technically is not really a Prince album because you definitely have songs from like the time. You had songs with Tevin Campbell, which this was actually no. Tomorrow was Tevin Campbell's first appearance on Wax. Yeah, this Round and Round song, it really did break him more out there. But my favorite songs are Weekend Funk with George Clinton. The original version on We Can Fuck with when he was in the Revolution, that's definitely a recommendable choice too. But this version definitely combined the two forces like the P Funk and like the Minneapolis sound together. And Thieves in the Temple, which again one of my all time favorite Prince songs. Alright. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. Diamonds and Pearls. This is with Prince and the New Power generation. Um, when I first heard this album, I'm not gonna lie, I did love it. This was actually the first Prince album I heard. But then over the years, I did kind of like have like a disdain for it, but not like a horrible disdain. Like songs like Daddy Pop, um, Jughead. Jesus Christ. You know what? Lex, let me run through this because the New Power generation technically debuted like around like the Graffiti Bridge era. He revamped the sound and stuff like that. You see him doing some more stuff, adding some elements of like New Jack Swing to his music with some house influences. Love the track Get Off, Diamonds and Pearls, Insatiable, which Insatiable is pretty much Scandalous, 1991 if you ask me. Um, yeah, very very enjoyable album. But this album right here, the Love Symbol album, very dope album, very underrated. I prefer this over Diamonds and Pearls. This is kind of like his own version of a rock opera. He has songs like My Name is Prince, which is more of like a hard hitting hip hoppy kind of track. Sexy Motherfucker, Blue Light. I mean, very, very, very dope album. Alright, then we're gonna get into his first compilation, The Hits and the B-Sides, 1993. This album right here is a very dope probably my favorite compilation in my collection because when it comes to this album, you definitely have the greatest hits, but then you also have like the album cuts and stuff like that. But then the third disc is what's really why I got it. Like you have the B side like Irresistible Bitch, Erotic City, Horny Toad. I mean, god damn it, like Another Lonely Christmas. I mean, this album compilation is Prince at his rawest form because one thing about Prince that I definitely loved was his B-sides. And that's the thing about artists back in the day when they used to have like the dope B-sides and stuff like that too. Nowadays, like, motherfuckers just like, nowadays motherfucker would just like either just post this shit on Twitter. So it's like, oh, this is just some outtakes from the albums, or just like quickly release like a deluxe edition. And I'm not really one to always get singles unless if it's like a B-side that I really like, or unless if it's just yeah, most if it's a B-side I really like, or if it's just like a remix I like there. But yeah, that's definitely what I feel. The hits and the B-sides. That album usually goes for a lot of money, but I got that in Barnes and Noble for $10. And ironically, this is around the time when he died and stuff, so. Alright. Okay, so I got this right here, and I got this right here, and then, yeah, I'll be done for today. So yeah, this is Prince with Come. This came out in 1994. Very experimental album. This was actually, if I'm not mistaken, his lowest selling album. This was released at a time when his Warner Brothers, when him were going at it, and he just like threw this album out just to get out his contract. Pretty much like unreleased shit. Um, it definitely had like a weird mid '90s R&B. I don't know how to explain the sound off this album, but you have a song like I like Space. I love Dark. I love that song. Let It Go. Definitely love that track. Yeah. Definitely like you have to re-listen to the album a couple of times to really fully appreciate it. But yeah, man. And then we're gonna have the Gold Experience. This is when he called himself the artist. Well, he just called himself the symbol. We called him the artist, formerly known as Prince. Um, and pretty much when it comes to this whole fucking album, excuse my language, but yeah. This was supposed to have came out in like '94, if I'm not mistaken, because he had song this the Beautiful Experience EP, and then he had other songs like Acknowledge Me, Remarch, that he debuted in '94, and of course he does The Beautiful Girl in the World, but the album got pushed back until 1995. It was released when pretty much like the public reaction to the album was kind of waning down, but yeah, this was a very cool album. A lot of people say this was his best album of the '90s. I tend to disagree. I mean, I like the album; it's very good, but at the same time, I'm more of a Love Symbol album fan. But yeah, I done a review on this album years ago, so y'all can check it out. 1996, Chaos and Distorter. Chaos and Disorder definitely was a very bad album. Again, this is just another thing he just threw to Warner Brothers, have more of like a garage rock kind of feel. Um, I don't really care for what was the song I care. I think I like it there and Chaos. The first two tracks were pretty good. It's, like I said, I pretty much forgot it. It's a forgettable album in my opinion, unfortunately. Now, oh my fucking god. Okay. 1996 again with Emancipation. Emancipation. This came out after he was fully, you know, happy at that time because he was marrying my AT. He married my AT. Around the time he had the miscarriage, and unfortunately he had that miscarriage in my 18 and stuff like that. They actually had a stillborn and a miscarriage, believe it or not. That's kind of sad. So yeah, very, 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 very long album. If it was just based off the first disc, it would have been a very classic album. And maybe added like a few songs from here and here, but it was come on like 3 discs, man. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not the biggest Emancipation fan like that. And yeah, I know I gotta get back to my Prince reviews and stuff like that, which is coming. Cause I definitely gotta talk about I want to talk about The Truth actually. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that one. Then we're gonna get into The Rainbow Children. Now this is an album I recently received. This is an album that I recently received couple of weeks ago and stuff like that. Very, very, very dope album. They actually re-released this album recently. Yeah, this is a 2020 reissue. This was like his Jehovah's Witness album. It's been years since I listened to this album, so definitely